Hello, and my name is Mary White, and I will be doing an overview of instructional design models. But first, what is instructional design? It's the process in which we are creating educational experiences while leveraging technology in order to enhance learning. The first model is the ADDIE model, and it stands for Analysis, Design, Development, Implementation, and Evaluation. It is usable in various contexts, from military training and to modern online education. It really is the standard for instructional design. It was adopted by institutions that needed a more robust framework to manage the design of complex multimedia distance education courses. Its roots in military training, specifically during World War II, and was developed to manage those complex instructional projects like the Normandy landing. This connection to military training highlights the model's origins in the need for systematic, efficient design processes in large scale, high stakes environments. The model was influenced by system design principles, which were essential for those operations. They were later adapted for educational purposes, particularly in distance learning, and was crucial for that success. It aligns best with behaviorist principles. It emphasizes breaking down instructions into very discrete and specific steps, starting with an analysis of the learning needs and leading to the design of specific instructional strategies and evaluation. Focuses on observable, measurable outcomes where each stage of ADDIE can be seen as reinforcing desired learner behaviors. Next is the Dick and Carey instructional design model, also referred to as a systems approach model. It was first introduced in 1978 by Walter Dick and Lou Carey. The model was developed during a period where instructional design was increasingly recognized as critical for improving educational practices and training programs. They sought to create a more structured, systematic approach to instructional design that emphasize the relationship between different components of the instructional process. It was developed as an alternative to the more linear model, like ADDIE, which was very prevalent at that time. Dick and Carey's approach was unique because it viewed instruction as a system where all the components were interconnected. They emphasized the importance of each step in the process, making sure that they were aligned with one another to create a more cohesive learning process. This model also aligns with the behaviorist principles by emphasizing measurable performance outcomes. Each step in the model is designed to produce specific observable behaviors, such as mastering a skill or demonstrating their knowledge. With Roberts' nine events of instruction, his theory of instructional design emphasizes a systematic approach to teaching. Developed in the mid 20th century, this model is grounded in cognitive psychology and focuses on the internal processes of learners. He identified nine instructional events that align with the cognitive process that are necessary for effective learning. In that, it provides a structured framework for educators to design lessons that enhance understanding and retention. Obviously, being that it was grounded in cognitive psychology, the cognitive analysis works closely with his nine events of instruction. It emphasizes the importance of mental processes and how they influence learning. And it mirrors how we process information in the brain, starting from first gaining attention, activating that prior knowledge, and ensuring retention. Next is Merrill's first principles of instruction, and it emphasizes learning through problem solving and based on five core principles: problem centered, activation, demonstration, application, and integration. These principles focus on promoting learning through these sequence of steps: activation, where learners activate that prior knowledge; demonstration, where they demonstrate a skill; application, where they practice; integration, applying it to real world. Merrill's work is grounded in the belief that effective instruction is based on these fundamental principles, regardless of the specific model that's being used. First principles of instruction are deeply rooted in that constructivist analysis. They focus on engaging learners in active, meaningful learning processes that are reflective, contextualized, and hands on. Last but not least, we have the rapid e learning model. This emerged in order to be able to create content more quickly and efficiently to deploy online learning content. Traditional e learning development often involved lengthy processes, including extensive planning, design, and development, and were often too slow and resource intensive to meet the demands of the rapidly changing industry and training needs. It's important that in this there are clear goals and expectations. You need to define the learning objectives of the e-learning course by gathering feedback from learners and meeting with organizational stakeholders. You need to understand the learning expectations, background, and existing knowledge to tailor the course effectively. To save time without compromising quality, it's important to leverage e-learning templates. These pre-designed layouts can customize to fit the subject matter, ensuring a visually appealing and engaging course. You also need to familiarize yourself with the tools at your disposal. Efficiently using authoring tools and resources will help produce a high quality course more quickly and cost effectively. Behaviorism focuses on these observable behaviors, and the idea is that the learning is a result of stimulus response associations. Rapid e learning often includes quizzes and assessments to check for understanding. Immediate feedback on these assessments reinforce correct answers and guide learners towards desired behaviors. For example, correct answers could be reinforced with positive feedback or rewards, encouraging repeat engagement. The instructional model that I decided to take a deeper look at was the 9 events of instruction. Something I'll be teaching in social studies this year is teaching my students how to read maps. So I started with gaining attention and starting with an intriguing question. Have you ever gotten lost with GPS, without GPS? And this draws attention to the importance of map reading skills. um, Everyone has access to technology, but sometimes that technology fits us. Next, informing learners of the objectives. I will explain by the end of the lesson, they will be able to interpret and use basic map features like legends, scales, and compass directions. Third is to recall that prior learning, asking students to share any experiences they have navigating unfamiliar places and connect anything from their past to the new learning. Following, I will introduce those key concepts like map symbols, compass rose, concept of a scale through different materials like a physical map and also digital resources. Next, I'll offer those mnemonic devices like never eat soggy waffles in order to remember those compass directions: north, east, south, west. Next, the students will be involved in hands-on activities such as plotting a route on a map, interpreting a map legend to find specific locations, and they'll also have the opportunity to work in groups to solve a potential breakout room where they have to solve where the class stuffed animal is. Next, providing feedback. Immediate feedback is important in this instance in order to correct any misconceptions and reinforcing correct interpretations of the maps. Lastly, or second to last, conducting a formal assessment where they applied their skills to a new map to ensure they can actually interpret and use it. And then for after the assessment, the ability to encourage students to use it in a real world context, such as planning a field trip or using maps in a geography project. So, the justification in using this model is because map reading is systematically built from understanding, capturing interest to ensure mastery and transfer. It addresses the specific learning goals by focus on these essential map reading skills and providing structured guidance and practice. The sequential nature of this model ensures that learners can progress from basic to more complicated tasks. Thank you so much for listening, and please take the moment to follow me at that EdTech Lady on X.